Edward and Connie Sumner reside in affluent Westchester County, New York, with their son, Charlie. Although their marriage is stable, it lacks excitement and has fallen into a routine. One day, while shopping in Soho, Connie accidentally collides with a stranger named Paul Martell due to strong winds. Concerned about her scraped knee, Paul invites her to his apartment to tend to her injury. After applying an ice pack and engaging in conversation, Paul gives Connie a book, highlighting a passage about seizing the moment. Feeling uneasy, Connie leaves. To her surprise, she finds Paul's phone number tucked inside the book and decides to call him from Penn Central. She visits him again, and despite her initial hesitation, they end up having sex. Connie experiences a mix of arousal and fear, but the thrill of the affair keeps her returning to Paul's apartment. Edward begins to grow suspicious as he catches Connie in lies, and her behavior becomes increasingly distant and preoccupied. A perceptive employee who has witnessed Connie and Paul together hints to Edward about his own family's secrets. Disturbed by the revelation, Edward hires a private investigator and is devastated when he sees photographic evidence of Connie's affair. As guilt weighs heavily on Connie, she realizes she can no longer continue the affair. Determined to end things, she heads to Paul's apartment. However, she discovers him with another woman, which triggers her jealousy. Paul claims that the woman is just a friend, but Connie angrily declares the end of their affair and storms out. Paul pursues her and forcibly engages in sexual activity with her in the hallway against her will. After leaving, Connie narrowly avoids running into Edward, who has come to confront Paul about the affair. Paul invites Edward inside, where he discovers a snow globe that he had given to Connie. Overcome with anger, Edward strikes Paul with the snow globe, causing a fatal skull fracture. In a state of panic, Edward cleans up the evidence, overhearing a voicemail message from Connie in which she ends the affair for the sake of her family. Edward erases the message and disposes of Paul's body in a landfill. Detectives from the NYPD later visit the Sumner residence, as Connie's number was found in Paul's possession, and his wife had reported him missing. Connie feigns ignorance about the extent of her relationship with Paul. When the detectives return a week later to announce that Paul's body has been found, both Edward and the detectives notice Connie's reaction to the news. At the dry cleaner, Connie discovers photos of her and Paul hidden in Edward's clothes. Realizing that Edward knows about her infidelity, she becomes distraught. Later at a party, she comes across the snow globe she had given Paul, now a part of their collection. Locking eyes with Edward, she suspects his involvement in Paul's disappearance. Connie confronts Edward, but he deflects blame onto her for the affair. He admits to knowing about the infidelity all along and confesses that he initially wanted to harm her, not Paul. In the following days, Connie finds a hidden compartment in the snow globe containing a photograph of them and their infant son, along with a heartfelt message from Edward expressing his love for her. Overwhelmed by remorse, Connie burns the photos of her and Paul and expresses her fear. Edward suggests turning himself in, but Connie objects, determined to find a way to move forward together. Briefly, they seem to return to a semblance of a normal life. However, on their way home from an event, Edward stops the car at a red light with Charlie asleep in the back seat. As Connie drifts into a fantasy of escaping to another country and starting afresh, comforts her as she begins to cry. Suddenly, it becomes clear that Edward has purposely stopped the car outside a police station. The ending implies that Edward has decided to turn himself in, possibly for his role in Paul's death, or for his knowledge of the affair. Connie's hopes of starting anew are shattered as they face the consequences of their actions. The film leaves the audience with a sense of uncertainty about the future of their relationship and the choices they will make.